Posh Allen here. You've caught me disguised as a dog hiding in the lair of the evil. Oh, what was that? Oh, I think I hear one of the gatekeepers. I'm here to welcome Sir Derek of Hale to the Knights of Alexandria. Oh, I hear something. I must go investigate.
Hi guys, it's Alan and welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. And so today guys, today is my October wrap-up. I know it's coming a little late, but I figured I would go ahead and get this out here with all the things that I read in October. October was a bizarre month. It started off with a book that just took me forever to read. Despite the fact that it was really good, it just took it took about twice as long as it needed to take. And that kind of put me in like a slump. And so I had to make some alterations to my TBR just to kind of try to kick it. And so I did not read as much as I wanted to, as I normally do probably. I read a total of like 2,300 pages or so, which is slightly down from the previous months. Part of it is because of something that I had to read for a challenge loss, and part of it was just October's just a weird month. And I know a bunch of other people in like the Shelf Space Discord and in my Discord, we're also having a kind of an off month in October. Everybody except Abby, who just kind of like sucked everybody's October energy and read, you know, like 170 books in October somehow. So I read a total of 5 books, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with 5 books. I try to hit 6, even though I put 8 on my TBR. I do try to hit 6, but I did not quite get the 6th one. They were all fantasy, but I had 1 fantasy romance, and then 2 urban fantasies, weird, and then 2 kind of regular fantasy books. So that's that breakup there, and I read 1 1.5 star, 1 3-star, 1 4-star, and 2 5-star books. So most of the books I read were really, really good. It was just, like I said, just a weird reading month. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Let's get it started. We'll start with, as always, the lowest. And the 1.5-star book is Boosh, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So, if you do not know, I lost a bet in my blindfold cover challenge. I, to my great shame, could not identify the Shorefall cover despite it being extraordinarily distinctive and having just read Foundryside recently.
Hovering above.
What is this book? It is a dark stain upon my otherwise stellar reputation that will go with me to my grave. And I will never live down. And if I had just gotten that one, which I should have gotten, I would not have had to do this. So I had to read A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now, I finished it this month, but I did most of the reading last month, so I am counting it as last month's reading. As you can tell from my rating, I did not enjoy this book. It is not my thing. It is not for me. It is about fairies, and it's about all they really care a whole lot about who is in love with who. And there's all this talk about all this powerful stuff, and none of it ever like happens. And there's just a lot of hand wringing, and there's a whole lot of and it's a drag, guys. Like, it is just, and they talk like teenagers, and there's a dude who is totally just like the edgelord. Frickin' Rhysand showing up with his like, oh, hello, look at how amazing and mysterious I am. Ugh, he's just the worst. And yeah, I didn't enjoy it, but no one actually anticipated me enjoying it. I feel actually really bad because Abby, sorry to wreck your feelings. Ina, sorry to wreck your feelings. Like, I didn't enjoy this book, but I vlogged the experience. And it turns out, as I tried to start editing the vlog yesterday, I have 2 hours and 45 minutes of ACOTAR vlogging, so there is no way on earth that I'm going to release that as a single video. Instead, all next week, starting on Saturday, all next week will be ACOTAR vlog by Alan. So you can watch a man's slow descent into madness, sadness, despair, existential crises. So tune in this weekend and next week to watch that if you want, and you can get all of my thoughts filled with spoilers as I go through every single chapter of this foolishness. Next, we have a 3-star read, and this was Boosh, Stormfront by Jim Butcher. So this is book 1 of the Dresden Files, which I started this month and hope to continue because I enjoyed Stormfront. I really like that noir feeling. It's got a lot of those classic hard-boiled detective tropes. I mean, it's got them to like the nth degree, where if you're not a fan of the detective genre, I can see how this book could kind of be a turnoff for you, especially like the femme fatale thing and the damsels in distress and the hero that everyone falls for and just kind of like really hackneyed humor. There's a lot of dumb stuff in it. The mystery is, I mean, it's there. It's nothing special. It's nothing great. I really do like the magic in this world. I think it's cool that he's a freaking wizard living as a detective and he's in the phone book as a wizard. I like kind of the mob boss. I like some of the mythical creatures or, magical creatures. I don't like all of them. I'm looking at you, Toot Toot. But, so I thought it was a solid entry. It was fine. It was fine. I didn't love it. I certainly didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. At no point did I dread reading it. So it was good. It was 3 stars. There's not a ton to say about Dresden other than Harry Dresden is likable, despite the fact that the people in this world are kind of pervy. Everyone thinks about what all the ladies look like naked. And it's a detective novel. So I'm excited to continue with the second one. If not in November, then certainly in December. So next, these top tier books, top shelf books here with 4 stars. We got Jade City by Fonda Lee. So this is the book that I read at the beginning of the month, and it took me like 10 days. It took me a full third of the month to read this single book. It's really only about 500 and change pages. It should not have taken me this long, but I just had a weird slump of a month, and so it just took forever. It doesn't help that Jade City is a very, very slow burn. This book is about 2 rival kind of crime families on what is kind of analogous to Chinese Hong Kong, and they kind of control the jade trade, and jade gives them like superpowers like in Kung Fu movies, or if you watch my video, like in One Piece. It's super similar to that. Our heroes are from the Quan family, the No Peak clan, which is significantly less cool than the Bad Mountain clan. And it's really a very slow burn family, like Asian soap opera drama. It's very, very character based, despite this theoretically action-packed and exciting premise. And it is exciting, but it's much more a character drama, a deep dive into what the dysfunctions of this family, the relationships between the granddad who established the clan but is no longer in charge but looms large over the oldest son who is the head of the clan, and the youngest son who is kind of a hot-headed thug who runs the ground forces, the main enforcer essentially, and the youngest child who is the daughter who moved away to marry essentially an American and broke up with him, and so ends up coming back and she's trying to fit in without having to rely on her family's assets. And so you could strip away the crime element and you've got this really tight soap operatic family drama that I just thought was super, super compelling. A lot of people didn't love how undefined the magic system was with the jade. I mean, it's there, you just kind of got to go looking for it. And it is a slow burn, and that wasn't for everybody. But I actually really, really enjoyed this. I was sad that I couldn't move immediately on to Jade War, but I'm hoping to do that almost immediately in 2021 because I hear it's even better, even more action-packed. We can take all that character work from the first one, build on top of it, and just see what happens between these 2 rival clans. In the 5-star category, my first 5-star book was Boosh, Feet of Clay by Terry Pratchett. And this is book 3 of the City Watch of the Discworld novels. So I love the Watch novels. Captain Samuel Vimes is probably one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. He is just so righteous and just despises people who look down on other people, who think that they're better than other people just because they have kind of money or status or good breeding. Just like in the other Watch books, there is an attempt on the patrician's life to remove him from power and place a king on the throne. That's really the plot of all of the Guards books, and there is that murder mystery. This one involves golems. We get we get introduced to Discworld golems for the first time, and these golems are related to some of the murders that are happening in Ankh-Morpork. And so where Men-at-Arms really kind of examined racism and, you know, the cultural biases we have towards other people when we don't think about it, when we just kind of grow up in a certain environment. This really deals with, like, at what point does something constitute slavery? At what point does something become alive? Even if it's a construct, if it has thoughts of its own, or if it can speak and move and act, does it have a consciousness? Like, does it have life, or is it just a construct? And golems in Feet of Clay are really, they're just kind of like rudimentary robots. So do these automatons have life of their own, or are they nothing but really property? And so it explores that while trying to solve this murder mystery, while over here we have the plot against Vetinari's life. How are those two intertwined, if they are at all? We see a bunch more from Captain Carrot, Nabi, and especially Angua, and the brand new forensic expert, Cheery Littlebottom, who doesn't have any eyebrows because he keeps blowing stuff up. And it's just so good. I love it so much more than I did the last time. It was probably my least favorite of the first 3 Guards books the last time I read it, but this time just the themes hit more home with me. Some of the references I got that I don't remember getting. And so I really, really enjoyed this much more than I did on the last read. Probably my second favorite of the first 3. Guard's always going to be at the top, followed by Feet of Clay, followed very, very, very closely by Men-at-Arms. Just a great read. Please read Discworld. Check out before you read Discworld if you have any questions, and just join it. They're so much fun. So feel good. I can't wait to read another one in December, where me and some people in my Discord are going to read the 4th watch book, Jingo. And then finally, 5-star books. I would give it 6 stars if I could. Tyrant's Throne by Sebastian de Castell, book 4 of the Greatcoats. So I could not have enjoyed this book more if I tried. For me, it was just such an excellent conclusion to an already excellent series that had just everything that I loved about Greatcoats in spades. It just pared away all the fat and was just a gripping, ripping tale of justice and belief and friendship and the power of storytelling and the power of history and legacy. And it was just so good. It wrapped up every open thread that we have, including one that we've had since the first book. Everything wrapped up satisfactorily. Falchio, Brasti, Kest are all in amazing form. There's some excellent character work here, some incredibly intense moments, some incredibly heartbreaking moments, some moments of real friendship, of despair, of triumph. Guys, I love the Greatcoats. It is probably my new favorite series. In my Q&A, I was asked, do I love Senlin or do I love Greatcoats the most? I don't know. But next year, when the 4th Senlin book comes out, I will read it, and then I will be able to finally compare the 2 series, because right now, guys, it's just amazing. Now, there a couple of you have responded that you did not have that same experience from book 4, that you had a similar experience as you had with book 3, where you didn't really like it as much as the first 2. And I mean, I get that, but for me, it was just incredible. It was everything that I wanted it to be. It was the ending that, like, I can't think of what I would have done differently to make it better. It was just, there were so many moments where I was like, what? No! Both good and bad, being like, yes, and no, and just so many of those that it's just, Tyrant's Throne is one of my favorite books, if not my favorite book that I've read this year. It got the rare and unheard of superb plus rating. So it was amazing. I loved it. I cannot wait for the new Greatcoat-ish series that's going to be starting in June with Play of Shadows, even though the author has said that it's a very different kind of series from the Greatcoats. It at least takes place in that same world. The main character is the grandson of 2 Greatcoats, and I'm super excited to return to Tristia and spend any more time with the Greatcoats. I love Greatcoats. Come join the Greatcoats. Let's all be Greatcoats and fix the freaking world. So guys, that is it for my October wrap-up. That is coming way later than it probably should have, but just in case you missed all of the things that I read in October, there you have it. Be sure to like and subscribe. The information on my Patreon and Discord is in the description. And guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Look this way.
Sam. I'm here to welcome Dang it.